Walks onto stage. Good whatever, lady and gentlemen. Star Trek Picard Season 3 has ended. And there are mixed emotions regarding the conclusion. Major Grin has collated a number of amusing and Star Trek canon-based clips. Trekkie commentators have passed their verdict. And the tainted remain unconvinced. I reviewed Star Trek Picard Season 1. And my review was damning. Picard was made a side character in a cookie-cutter science fiction story. Star Trek canon ignored. Fantasy mixed with science fiction. Picard, a golem. Pauses. How could Star Trek Picard ever be redeemed? Looks left. What if I told you it could? Looks right. Would it make any difference to what you had already watched? Would you thank me or condemn me as a witch? Smirks. Before I continue, I would like to dedicate this review to my virtual lover, Sophie Ellis Bextor. For on this day, she celebrates 3 important occasions. St. George's Day, Shakespeare's birthday, and the birth of her first son. Well, I did say I was the one, triple guaranteed. On to the revelations. After this comic interdiction. Does anyone know what this is? Pauses. That is right. It is a box with flashing LEDs on. Rolls eyes. Before I forget. Spoilers. Ahead. Smirks. I am not going to mess around with you. And leave the reveal to the end. What I am going to do is put the hypothesis to you. Then show you the stitch work. And watch your head explode. Pauses. Star Trek Picard was a 3-part season outlining the relationship between Q and Picard. In the 3rd season, the entire Enterprise crew joined forces to defeat a common enemy, the remains of the Borg. In the original, The Next Generation, Q told Picard, the Borg would be humanity's most deadly foe. You can't outrun them. You can't destroy them. If you damage them, the essence of what they are remains. They regenerate and keep coming. Eventually you will weaken, your reserves will be gone. They are relentless. Pauses. You are wondering, how was Q in the 1st and 3rd season? We saw Q as a human in Season 2. And he died. Didn't he? Pauses. Didn't he? Well, Q is an infinite being. A Q died, just not all Q died. Which leads me to the main revelation. For Season 3. Liam Shaw was Q. Pauses. Now that you know. You see it, don't you? 3. 2. 1. Pop. Just like in the Matrix. You suddenly find yourself in the real world. Well, in this case, you find the hidden plot. That no conscious mind wrote. Waves. Hello. How you doing like? And now, everything falls into place. In Season 1, the Zhat Vash happened upon a planetary system. That included instructions on how to contact an artificial species. Capable of destroying everything in the galaxy. Pauses. Yet, Q neglected to mention them. Do you think they slipped his mind? Rolls eyes. The mystical artificial species were a Q test. In which Picard sacrifices himself. Explaining the reason for Q's interest in Picard in the Next Generation. The question is, did Q's earlier intervention prepare Picard for the test? Does humanity evolve into the Q? Or is humanity just a pet? Pauses. In Season 2, the Borg are front and center. As is Q himself. Here humanity joined forces with the Borg. To defeat an energy source of unknown origin. Pauses. In Season 3, Q is Liam Shaw. Q in disguise, or in a new form. Death made him crotchety. And less willing to reveal himself. Instead, Q is happy to watch and pass comment on Picard's attempts to save the Alpha Quadrant. The stabilizers are off on the rickety bike, that is Jean-Luc Picard. Pauses. With Star Trek Picard, every crisis is solved with a hug. Pauses. Oh my. The line must be drawn here. This far, no further. Looks left. I do enjoy a hug. Looks right. But a hug cannot solve every crisis. Pauses. The question is, does this overarching narrative of the Q continuum and Jean-Luc Picard's importance to it make Star Trek Picard any more palatable to the audience? Screams. There are 4 lights. Pauses. Probably not. Being released from torture is a relief. It is not compensation. The Star Trek fans had to take their overpriced collectibles out of their glass cases before anyone listened to their cries. I will make them pay for what they have done. Engage. Pauses. Is this a meme I see before me? As a serious actor, Patrick Stewart wanted to leave something behind other than a collection of meme templates. Making Star Trek Picard into an explanation as to Jean-Luc Picard's importance in the next generation and why Q found him intriguing helps a little. Rolls eyes. Whilst the story of the Borg implants altering Picard's DNA, allowing Picard's offspring to become superior Borg is far-fetched and full of plot holes. I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile. Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us. Pauses. Unless the Q had something to do with it all. It was good to see Picard and Riker back together as a team. After all these years. As we saw Kirk and Spock as old friends taking on a challenge. Season 3 doffed its cap in more than a few ways. To Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. Probably the best film version of the original series. The actor who played the main villain in Season 3, Vadic, is the daughter of the actor who played General Chan. And whilst she never quoted Shakespeare, whilst spinning in her captain's chair, Picard managed to quote some in the closing scenes. There is a tide in the affairs of men, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Pauses. The final thoughts on Star Trek Picard relate to the portals observed in all 3 seasons. First there was the one the artificial species opened. Then there was the one, out of which, the beam of energy appeared. That could wipe out the Alpha Quadrant. In Season 2. Pauses. Could these have been related? An equal and opposite reaction. With Season 3, featuring the portal technology displayed in Season 1. After the Federation had studied the alien portal's features. Pauses. Picard had many episodes on the Next Generation, where he explored his humanity. And where he engaged in personal relationships. One has to wonder if Patrick Stewart's memory is all there. If he feels it necessary to expose Trekkies to poorly written soap operas, rather than well-written science fiction. You told my father humanity's trial is over. It is. For him. But I'm here today because of you. You see, yours, Jack, has just begun. Peace, I am out of here, word up. Exits stage left.